All right, we are in the National Forest today on the Isle of Man, and it is absolutely stunning. I highly recommend coming here. I just can't believe how beautiful it is. And some of these trees are so old, it's just unbelievable. I mean, look behind me. Look at the height this goes up to. So we're going to open today with talking about the most obvious and fairly concerning thing, and that's Russia. And I was just fielding calls all morning from 4 a.m. so I'm pretty tired, as you can probably see, bags under my eyes, from investors all over the world, clients. Everyone's panicking. Everyone's really worried about what happened. And I've got to be honest, a lot of people have been messaging saying, this is what you were talking about when you said we were going to go into this massive crisis between 2020 and 2025? Is this World War III and all that? Honestly, I knew, as much as the next man, I didn't know that Russia was going to go into Ukraine like this. I have my sort of reasons and theories as to why they've done it, which is a little bit different from what you're seeing on the mainstream media. I've talked about this a little bit, and obviously I don't condone any form of military conflict ever. Life is very sacred, it's very blessed, so I never want to see any harm come to other people. But I do want to answer a couple of questions that I've been asked this morning by clients. One of them is he's not the head of the hedge fund, but I don't know exactly what his role is, but he's on the board at one hedge fund. And he was asking if I think there's going to be a full-scale war. Will NATO get involved? Will America get involved? Will Canada get involved? And again, I'm not a geopolitical guy or a military strategist or anything like that. But all I can share is from history, and that's what I told him. Everything I always share with all of you is about history, what I've read in history books. So I'll share with you the same story I gave him this morning when he asked me that question. And that was about something called the League of Nations. So if you don't know what that is, that was similar to NATO. And it existed after the First World War. I think it was the US president actually that put it together. And that consisted of a lot of different countries who wanted to form an alliance to make sure there was never a big conflict again. And this was the sort of reference I gave there, in that why I don't think NATO is going to get involved militarily at this stage. Now, they might do later on, but at this stage, I don't think they're going to. And here's why. When Russia attacked what was then Persia in, I think it was 1920, Persia straight away put out a call for aid, call for assistance to the League of Nations. Guess what they said? They said, no, we are not going to intervene militarily. And of course, Persia asked, why? Why are you said you would help, and all the countries said they would help if we ever needed it. Why? And this is the reason. And I think it's the same reason that will happen today. Because the League said, Russia does not accept our authority, and they are not afraid of us. Look at this beautiful waterfall behind. And I think the same thing's going to happen again this time. Yes, everyone can put sanctions. Yes, everyone can threaten. But actually, when World War II really kicked off properly and all the fighting broke out, all of these countries that, they had their strength in their numbers, they claimed neutrality. And they said, oh, no, we don't want to get involved in any fighting. We're completely neutral to it all. So it was just a big bluff. And that's, again, just looking at it from history, reading back over hundreds, if not thousands of years of conflicts where there's alliances, that is what tends to happen each time. The allies who say, yeah, we'll come to your aid if you ever need it, they're only saying that because they actually want that aid for themselves. They're hoping they never have to, deliver it for someone else. And the only time they ever really, these individual countries, started military conflict in World War II was when it was on their doorstep, or when the threat of it coming to their doorstep was so immediate that they just couldn't hold off any longer and they had to get involved. So today then we're going to talk about all the different crises that are going on right now. Some people say, Chicken Little, Neil's always talking about a crisis that never happens, blah, blah, blah. And yet, if you actually look at all these crises that I talked about, chip shortage, energy, fuel, gas, electricity, food, inflation, all this stuff a year, 2 years back, they have all happened. So, you know, these comments just make me laugh. Another question that I get asked quite a lot is, did I move here to the Isle of Man because I knew there was going to be some sort of conflict or war or something bad happening? Honestly, no, I did not know there was going to be a war like this, or at least a conflict, we'll call it at the moment. I had no idea. I just knew that there was something coming 2020 to 2025. It just showed everything from the fourth turning to generations to all the cyclical models of history and generational age groups said that this was coming. They all showed, all the patterns showed that something bad was coming. And a lot of people said it was COVID. I didn't think so. I thought COVID was probably just the beginning of it and that there'd be something a lot worse coming afterwards. Now, still, we don't know exactly, and I don't even know if this conflict right now is, you know, the end of it. There could be even more yet to come. But being here on the island like this, honestly, I've got to tell you, why everyone's panicking and freaking out, I don't feel worried at all. I've got everything in place, all the stuff I've guided you towards over last year, from everything from the basics of Maslow's, you know, hierarchy of needs, from oxygen to clean water, being able to filter your water, to food, having a food supply, to, you know, relationships, having that network, to being a little bit more rural, not being in the big cities. I'm just, you know, what I teach you, I'm living myself. I was always told to lead by example, and that's really what I try to do. So let me read out then, because I made a list this morning before I came out of 20 different crises that we're either going through or we've gone through just in the last 18 months. So here's the list. You ready? Inflation. Again, I forecast this 2 years ago. Anyone who says that I didn't, go and look at the videos on my channel. I said this was going to happen. Forecast it 2 years ago. Inflation. Number 2, supply chain issues. Again, 18 months forecast. Government control. Again, 18 months ago. Great reset video. Energy crisis leading to fuel crisis. This was all covered a year ago. Food. The price of food going up. Again, that was linked into inflation, COVID and everything that entailed. Refugee crisis. I talked about this 2 years ago and how the refugee crisis would increase. Next is monetary. Then we have a labor shortage crisis, transportation crisis. We have everything going on in China. We have the climate emergency, as it's being called. We have a crisis with the bond market. Then we have mainstream media control and propaganda. Wow, this is beautiful. Let's stop here a second. Okay, where did I get to? Mainstream media. Again, it's controlled. People still don't believe it. Even though I've grabbed together montages, I've done the research, I've showed that 94% of all mainstream media is controlled by the same group who have an agenda. They have their links with all of these globalists. I've proven it. I've done the work. I've done the research. I've proven it financially, linked it all together. People still don't believe it. They still watch the mainstream media every day and they believe the propaganda. Of course, this links into government control, restrictions of freedoms that we're seeing. I've got a video coming out tomorrow and Sunday, actually. Sunday video you have to watch, talking about restrictions of freedoms and everything around that. We then have issues with resources. We have resource depletion. Personally, I don't think we have enough recycling in the world. Here on the Isle of Man, they don't do a lot of recycling, which surprised me, especially with plastics and things. You know, we need to do this sort of stuff. We need to be recycling. Okay, always close the gates when you're in national parks. Always close the gates behind you. What about the homelessness crisis? Again, I talked about that last week. 1 in 500 Americans is now homeless. This is expected to ramp up over the next 3 years to new crazy levels. And then we have the last 3 that come in here with debt, personal debt, sovereign debt, corporate debt. We have government debt, carbon net zero, which all the banks have signed up to. I've got a documentary coming out on that fairly shortly. Oh, wow. Look at this hill. Out of breath. There's Kristen, if you can see her up there. She's just a little bit ahead of me. She thinks she's fitter than me now. So she always runs ahead. In fact, let's go and catch up with her and then overtake her. Okay, she's not going to see me coming. I'm power walking up. Boo! This forest is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The reason I'm wrapped up all warm, by the way, is because it's either 0 or 1 degrees today. So it's pretty cold. I didn't bring my gloves again. Christine's laughing. She brought hers. She got her warm gloves.
I've got my new walking boots on today, so I'm ready.
Let's see them. Show us. All right, good.
They're not the most feminine, fashionable thing, but they do a good job and they're completely waterproof and they're good for hiking and walking.
Good job. Got to teach her all this stuff. She's from the big city, Los Angeles, so she's not used to all this outdoor stuff. Got to get her, you know, strong, all the right equipment. She can't just go hiking in flip-flops. There's just so much greenery and diversity around here. Someone was asking me the other day, Neil, are you ever going to come back to the big cities again? Would you ever live in the big cities? And what about when everything comes back and all the entertainment comes back? Absolutely no way. There's no way I'll be going back. I absolutely love it out here. So peaceful. Here we go, look behind. I really wish I'd made this move a long time ago. Staying in, you know, London for so long, going to Los Angeles, going to Coventry. You know, I really wish I'd done this a lot sooner. So wrapping up on the crises then, we are in a period of crisis now. And I knew this was coming. I knew we were going to get to this stage where all these crises would just converge together, thereby making somewhat of a super crisis. I mean, if you look at just the things that are going on right now and how they're all converging together, things like energy as well, oil, natural gas, with the control that large nations like Russia have on these resources, this is going to feed into inflation as well. So honestly, if you haven't got yourself prepared, make sure you start now. I mean, I don't know how many more times I can say this, but maybe now everything's kicking off and we're seeing some sort of military conflict as well. Maybe maybe some people will start paying attention and start taking some action steps here. Wow, it's beautiful. Okay, and there's Christine in front. Hey. One final thing I wanted to talk about today then was, as you know, I promised you I'd deliver more videos, and I said I'd do it for just a month, trial it out, see how many videos I can get out without losing that quality. That's the main thing. I don't want to lose the quality, you see. So I've been doing that. I've been getting a lot of videos out. Oh gosh, the wind. It's almost blowing the camera over. So I've been getting those videos out, just like I said I would for you. And this week, I think it's going to be 6 out of 7 days that I've got a video out. But honestly, it is so hard to do when you're doing it all on your own. Obviously, I'm not doing my main job at the moment, my CEO role. And I'll tell you about that later on, that I will probably be retiring from that very shortly, especially now being out here. Different way of life, very slow pace. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I'm trialing out, getting out a lot more videos. Maybe I'll do 3 to 4 a week. That might be the nice balance. But doing a video every day means I'm just missing out on all of the beauty around, and I just really like this. I don't know, I much prefer this way of life to where I was living before, that super fast pace, just non-stop run around day in, day out. This is, for me, what I think was missing from my life, having this slow pace of life, being able to just go into nature every day, getting prepared, having a bit more time to be prepared for whatever comes next. But yeah, I think that's probably it for today. Just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. Really appreciate you as a subscriber. I hope you've been enjoying the regular videos. I'll do my best to continue them up, but maybe I'll have to slow the pace down. Oh my God! Where did that wind just come from? Where did that wind just come from? I almost got blown over the edge here. Goodness me. All right. Yeah, well, gosh, my eyes are watering everywhere. All right, well, that's it for today then. All right, thanks for watching. Take care. God bless you and your families, and I will see you next time.